Welcome to New Stripe City, a YouTube channel for die-hard Bengals fans. I'm your host, Ace Boogie, and welcome to the new viewers and the returning die-hard subs to the channel. We do weekly interviews here and provide analysis on the latest Bengals breaking news. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. And if you want to know how to subscribe, there's a button below this video, and we also provide a link in the video description. So if you're looking for that, it should be there. So with the NFL 2020 schedule getting ready to drop on Thursday, I felt like I should do a video talking about the Bengals' chances at NFL primetime games. And at first glance, you're thinking, why would the Bengals have a bunch of primetime games? No one cares about the Bengals. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have to think about the Joe Burrow effect, right? And then you look at the 2020 NFL Bengals schedule and look at some of their matchups. They've got some interesting ones. You know, they're playing against the Dolphins with Tua Tagovailoa, the second quarterback taken in this draft. Who wouldn't want to see a rematch of Burrow versus Tua? We saw that last year in the SEC game with LSU versus Alabama. We'd like to see that again. You're talking about the two top guys of that draft. Who wouldn't want to see that? And speaking of the two top guys of the draft, who wouldn't want to see Joe Burrow versus Chase Young? They do play the Redskins. Who wouldn't want to see the number 1 pick versus the number 2 pick? It makes it very interesting. I know in the Who Dey community, there was a lot of Chase Young versus Joe Burrow. That would be the same there. So I think that would be very entertaining from that standpoint as well. And then you got the Steelers. Yes, Big Ben is back. The Bengals and Steelers are always going to give you guys a great primetime game. And in the past, that's generally been some of the games that they've gone with in terms of primetime. So then you have Big Ben, who's getting off of his Corona couch with his beard, versus a young Joe Burrow. And we'll have to see if this young Joe Burrow and this Burrow era is going to be any different than it has in the past, because Andy Dalton really couldn't beat the Steelers. But can Joe Burrow? I think a lot of people would like to see that, especially you talk about the 2015 playoff game. Those are things that get the energy and the blood flowing for this game. I could see that definitely being one of these games. And then you talk about the Baltimore Ravens, this year's MVP. Who wouldn't want to see that? Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson, that would be crazy. Those could be two of the most entertaining players in the college football ranks and NFL ranks of last season. I think that you'd be hard pressed to really have to sell that of watching Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson. Two different styles of football, but still would be very exciting to watch. And then you also talk about the Los Angeles Chargers with them taking Justin Herbert. You can see Justin Herbert versus Joe Burrow as well. That's another kind of quarterback rivalry that was established there. Some people felt like Justin Herbert was, possibly the best quarterback from a prospect standpoint in terms of, arm strength and just stuff like that. It's a good rivalry to also kick off, because if Tua's not playing next year, which we don't know if he is or not, then you also can pivot to the Herbert matchup as well. And then, of course, you have the Browns. And with the Browns, you've got Baker Mayfield, you got OBJ, you got all of these star-studded players. You talk about Nick Chubb and Jarvis Landry, and then you're going against the Bengals with Joe Burrow and his weapons and AJ Green. You talk about the return of AJ Green. That's almost like a wide receiver heaven. When you really talk about it, you look at those two receiving cores, it's just filled with stars. You have John Ross and all of those guys, T. Higgins. So that could be a great Battle of Ohio that could also stand up against any primetime game when you really think about it. And here's the sleeper one. Andy Dalton just went to the Cowboys. We know that, right? So right now, this could be one that could be flexed to prime time depending on the situation. The Cincinnati Bengals play the Dallas Cowboys next season. And how crazy would it be? They also play them at home in Paul Brown Stadium. I don't think you need anything to sell an Andy Dalton Cowboy-led team coming into Paul Brown to take on Joe Burrow, the man that took his sack lunch, the man that took his job, the man that replaced him. That would be, whew. I love Dak Prescott and everything, but who wouldn't want to see that? Andy Dalton with his new team, Dallas Cowboys, taking on Joe Burrow and a young Cincinnati Bengals team. How crazy would that be, right? So that would be one that I think could be flexed. But I think in the grand scheme of things, a lot of people aren't thinking about the fact that the Bengals have star power now and they have Joe Burrow. So that means that they're going to get consideration for these primetime games. And when you talk about these matchups, you can't ignore the fact that Joe Burrow was loved by many, has extended this Bengals fan base, extends to LSU fans, extends to anybody who was a Joe Burrow fan last year. And so you have to think the Bengals could end up getting about 3 or 4 primetime games. I don't think it's too crazy to say that. I think about it too, you're going to have, from a fantasy perspective, guys that have Joe Burrow on their team. You're going to have Joe Mixon. You're going to have John Ross, AJ Green. People are going to be watching those games. Like, if he comes out to a hot start, I would not be surprised if the Bengals have 3 to 4 possible primetime games set up for next season. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And if you like this kind of content, consider subscribing and sharing this video. Please feel free to like this video and comment, because we enjoy that commentary from diehard Bengals fans. I'm Ace Boogie. This has been New Stripe City. And as usual, I'm going to leave you guys with a who day, all day, every day, and especially on Sunday. We interrupt this programming to help New Stripe City raise funds for this channel. Who day? New Stripe City community, I am glad to announce that I am a proud partner with Fanatics, an NFL officially licensed merchandising company. What does this mean? This means that you can get any kind of apparel, legit hats, draft hats, jerseys. This AJ Green jersey is $59.99 right now. Check it out. All you have to do to support the channel and to support me is to look at the links in the description that I post. Click on them. Once you go and open a new page, it'll bring up that specific item. All you have to do is purchase the item. Like this AJ Green $59.99 Color Rush jersey. It's a lick and it's real. It's real. It's legit. So all you have to do is go through that, check out, make your purchase, and you will be helping out New Stripe City. New Stripe City is also partnered with Amazon as well. So check out the links in the bio with the Joe Exotic shirt. Get you some cool stuff, especially with the draft coming up. You got to be fresh, right? We got to be fresh for this draft. So check out the Tiger King inspired Joe Burrow, Joe Exotic shirt. Link is in the bio. All you have to do is click my link, make your purchase, and you help grow this channel of New Stripe City. Now back to your regularly scheduled program.